the first time that I had peace, like, before I sang, because I usually be like, oh Lord, I gotta do this song, But this time I was like, you know what? Let's just get up there and sing. And I wasn't stressed, I didn't miss no lyrics, I didn't do nothing. It was just a peace that came over me, and I'm thankful for that.
Right when everyone thought Jamal Roberts was living the dream, music deals on the table, interviews lined up back to back, cameras chasing him from studio doors to red carpets, he walked onto that award show stage with a look nobody expected. The smile was gone, the glow was gone, and the moment the microphone touched his hand, the entire room shifted. It wasn't nerves, it wasn't stage fright, it was something deeper, something heavier, something that had been building for years. You could feel it before he even spoke. The crowd leaned in, sensing that this wasn't going to be the usual "thank you to my fans" speech. This was a man who had reached his breaking point, a man who couldn't stay quiet one more second. What nobody realized that night was that Jamal wasn't just speaking for himself. He was speaking for every artist who had swallowed their pain, every newcomer who had been told to fit in or fade away, and every Black creative who knew the walls they were up against.
26 million people voted. Took the time out of their schedule to make sure I got this right here. That's an amazing journey. So many people believe in me, and that just gives me that urge to just keep moving and keep pushing.
He didn't step on that stage to celebrate. He stepped on that stage to tell the truth. And once he started, there was no stopping him. Jamal's story didn't begin under bright lights or with screaming fans. It started in a small neighborhood where talent was abundant, but opportunities were scarce. He grew up in a modest home with peeling paint and a roof that leaked every time it rained. But inside those walls lived a family filled with stubborn hope. His mother, a woman with tired hands and unwavering faith, worked double shifts just to keep the lights on. She didn't have much to give, but what she did give mattered. Love, resilience, and a belief that her son was destined for something bigger. When Jamal was a kid, he wasn't the loudest one in the room. He wasn't the one cracking jokes or causing a scene. He was the quiet observer, the child who listened more than he spoke. But whenever he opened his mouth to sing,
one part of the competition, I was like, I think I can chill now a little bit. But she was like, I want to see more, And it was just consistency, and I understood that completely.
Something extraordinary happened. People paused, heads turned, conversations stopped mid-sentence. His voice wasn't polished, but it carried emotion in a way that felt almost spiritual. It wasn't uncommon for his grandmother to wipe away tears while he sang hymns in the living room, or for strangers at church to whisper, "That boy is special." But even with all this natural talent, the road ahead of him was anything but smooth. Growing up, Jamal saw how people like him were treated differently. He noticed how some of his classmates were encouraged to join music clubs, theater teams, or band programs, while he was told to focus on something realistic. Not because he didn't have talent, but because he didn't fit the image they wanted. Teachers told him his voice was too soulful, too emotional, or too raw. They said audiences wouldn't connect with it. Imagine being a young Black kid with a God-given gift and hearing over and over again,
"The winner of American Idol is Jamal Roberts."
That you're too much simply for being who you are. As he got older, the comments became more coded. When he performed at local talent shows, he noticed how judges praised his voice but questioned his marketability. When he auditioned for music academies, they said he needed to tone down his style, become more versatile, or adjust to mainstream tastes. He wasn't being told to improve, he was being told to shrink. Still, he pushed forward. Jamal worked long shifts, stocking shelves, cleaning offices, driving delivery vans to save up for studio time. There were nights when he'd stumble into bed at 4 a.m., too tired to eat, too exhausted to dream. But every morning he woke up with the same determination: keep going, keep singing, keep surviving. Then came the moment that changed everything. His audition for the televised singing competition wasn't planned. In fact, Jamal almost didn't go. He felt burnt out, drained, and convinced the world was never going to see him for who he truly was.
That it'll settle in probably later on tonight or in the morning or something, but I'm just like, I'm in awe. This has been a dream. God is good, and I'm so thankful. I'm grateful for every opportunity. I'm thankful for American Idol. Everybody that's played a big part in this moment. I love you, and I'm just grateful.
But something in him, maybe faith, maybe desperation, maybe destiny, pushed him through that door. And when he sang, the world finally heard him. The clip went viral. People cried watching his performance. Fans flooded social media with messages of love and support. For the first time in his life, Jamal wasn't being told to change. He wasn't being told to soften. He wasn't being told he wasn't enough. America embraced him, celebrated him, lifted him. But while millions were cheering, something much darker was unfolding behind the scenes. What the audience didn't see was the quiet tension that followed him backstage. While other contestants bonded with producers, mentors, and stylists, Jamal noticed he was often left out of the conversations that mattered. He wasn't invited to the extra rehearsal sessions. He wasn't given the same vocal coaching. His outfits were chosen last, his lighting changed at the last minute, his stage placement constantly adjusted without explanation. When he asked questions, he was met with vague replies. "Oh, we're running late." "Oh, that session was full." "Oh, maybe next time." But next time never came. Some contestants whispered things they wouldn't dare say on camera. Remarks about him being too intense, or playing the struggle narrative, or suggestions that he was getting sympathy votes rather than respect. Jamal heard every word, even the ones disguised as jokes. And though he stayed professional, the weight of it crushed him. The deeper he went into the competition, the worse it became. He wasn't being judged on talent anymore. He was being judged on identity. And the pressure kept building. By the time he reached the finale, Jamal was exhausted. Not physically, but emotionally. Exhausted from smiling through situations that hurt, exhausted from pretending things didn't bother him, exhausted from fighting a silent battle no one else could see. When he won the competition, confetti sprayed into the air. Cameras rushed toward him. The world celebrated. But inside, something broke. This wasn't joy. It was relief mixed with pain, a pain he'd buried for too long. And that is why, on one of the biggest nights of his career, he didn't give the acceptance speech everyone expected. He didn't read the script the producers gently encouraged him to follow. He didn't smile for the cameras or perform gratitude like a rehearsed routine. He told the truth. With shaky hands and a trembling voice, Jamal spoke directly into the microphone. "I can't walk off this stage without saying what's been weighing on my heart." You could hear the air leave the room. Every camera zoomed in. Every producer froze. Jamal continued, "I have been treated differently. I have been questioned in ways others weren't. I have been pushed aside, overlooked, and judged not for my ability, but for who I am." The audience sat in stunned silence. Viewers at home leaned closer to their screens. Even the other contestants looked shocked. And then he said the words that set everything on fire. "I am speaking up because I refuse to let quiet racism hide behind smiles and polite conversations. Not anymore." You could feel the room crack open. He didn't name names, he didn't attack individuals, but he made it clear that the system itself, its whispers, its barriers, its double standards, needed to be exposed. The crowd erupted. Some clapped, some cried, some stood frozen, unable to process what they'd just witnessed. But Jamal wasn't done. He shared how the pressure affected his mental health, how he felt isolated almost every week, how he questioned whether he even belonged in the competition, despite the love from fans. He spoke for artists who felt invisible, who felt like they were constantly climbing uphill, who felt like they were being measured by standards they never agreed to. And with one bold moment, he tore down the facade. The aftermath was immediate. Within hours, social media exploded. Hashtags trended globally. Fans posted videos crying. Some shared their own stories of discrimination. Others praised him for using his platform to shine a light on something people rarely dared to talk about on national TV. But of course, not everyone took it well. Some insiders accused him of misinterpreting things. Some said he was making people uncomfortable. Others insisted he was being dramatic or ungrateful. But here's the twist. The more people tried to dismiss him, the louder the world defended him. Artists opened up about similar experiences. Former contestants came forward with their own stories. Activists applauded his courage. Even celebrities who rarely spoke about these issues publicly shared his speech. This wasn't just a moment anymore. It became a movement. But the most heartbreaking part wasn't the backlash he faced. It was the emotional cost he had carried long before the cameras ever caught it. Jamal later revealed that some nights he cried alone in his hotel room, questioning whether he deserved to be there. He admitted how hard it was to constantly pretend nothing was wrong. He talked about the emotional toll, the anxiety, the pressure, the invisible wound that kept reopening every week. But he also said something more powerful. "This didn't break me, it woke me up." And he meant it. Instead of disappearing after the controversy, Jamal stepped forward with purpose. He announced plans to create a platform for young Black artists, mentorship, financial support, mental health resources, and a space where they could grow without being forced to dilute themselves for acceptance. He vowed to make sure no artist felt the way he did, alone, unsupported, and forced to shrink. He began writing songs about his truth, pouring raw emotion into every lyric. He didn't want perfection, he wanted honesty. His new music promised to capture every tear, every frustration, every victory. He started speaking at schools, workshops, and youth centers, telling kids who looked like him, "Don't dim your light, don't change your sound, don't twist yourself into something that feels wrong. You are enough exactly as you are." And suddenly, Jamal wasn't just a competition winner. He became a leader, a voice, a mirror, a reminder that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is speak up, even when your voice shakes. Jamal didn't call out racism because he wanted attention. He called it out because he was tired of surviving in silence. And that moment on stage, raw, vulnerable, unfiltered, became the spark that lit a conversation millions had avoided for too long. What comes next for Jamal? A new chapter, a louder voice, a stronger mission. Because once you tell the truth, you never go back to being quiet. And Jamal Roberts? He's just getting started.